good Saturday morning to you folks. This is Storm Track 7 meteorologist Robbie Commodore. Of course, Severe Weather Awareness Week across the state of Iowa has just come to an end, and I figured it might be a good idea to look back a year ago, at least tomorrow, the severe weather outbreak that we had at the end of March 31st, 2023. As you can see, a number of tornadoes there, violent one as well. We'll dive into that and just give you a summarization again, since we just wrapped up Severe Weather Awareness Week. Just a reminder that you do need to prepare as we enter severe weather season. Let's just jump into it right now. We're going to take a look at the overall setup first. It was a pretty volatile setup overall across at least a good chunk of the country here. As you can see, 2 level 5 out of 5 risks. Those are the pink shading that you see. Cold front centered over the center of the country there, and just lots of unseasonably warm and moist air was pulled northwards. That allowed for very favorable conditions for severe weather. You can see that high risk across eastern or southeastern Iowa rather. As we zoom on in here, even level 4 out of 5 moderate risk up towards portions of Highway 20 and along south of there. Again, it was a massive setup for what would be a pretty active day in terms of severe weather. Now, in terms of tornadoes, of course, we saw many confirmed all across eastern Iowa and over the entirety of the country, at least throughout the duration of this event from March 31st through April 1st, that whole span right there. This entire event actually produced the 3rd most tornadoes throughout a single event at 147 tornadoes across 16 states in the United States. So that alone is pretty jaw-dropping to hear at the least. But again, across eastern Iowa, we can see here a number of EF2s, 1 EF3, 1 EF4 as well. You can see that in Keokuk County, Washington, and Johnson County. That was the Keota tornado that we'll talk about in just a moment. But in the KWV viewing area alone, there were actually 19 tornadoes covered that day on March 31st. And just take a look at these stats. 6 of those were EF2s, 1 was an EF3, and again, that Keota-Wellman tornado was an EF4. So that makes at least 8 strong, if not violent, tornadoes, or at least strong, I should really say. So definitely an active day. But the one thing I also want you to notice here is that March, throughout the entirety of last year, 2023, 25 tornadoes occurred on that day alone, which was the total for tornadoes that month in March, and that was actually the highest or largest amount of tornadoes throughout the entire year, accounting for 35% of the Iowa tornadoes, or tornadoes in Iowa, I should say, last year alone. You can even see that pretty well on the graph, courtesy of the Des Moines office of the National Weather Service. So 25 tornadoes last March alone, all due to this day. And one of those in particular was this Keota-Wellman tornado. Here's this image of it. Definitely a jaw-dropping image to say the least. And here's some stats on that. The Keota-Wellman tornado, like I mentioned, the EF4, 170 mile an hour peak winds. Now, of course, on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, we talked about tornado safety. So make sure you are at least looking at that blog post that we have out. Check it out. Make sure you're prepared for your tornado sheltering. Have your kit prepared as well within your home in case severe weather does strike, and tornadoes especially this spring. But again, a detrimental tornado right there. But that's what we're looking at with the Keota-Wellman tornado. And overall, just the sheer amount of reports from this event, like we talked about, 147 total tornadoes across the country. Even more hail reports, over 300 total, over 500 wind reports. In total, just over 1,000 severe reports throughout that span of March 31st to April 1st. So an active day to say the least, and so far it's not looking super active, at least leading up to Easter here, of course, tomorrow. But just something to keep an eye on as we roll through the rest of spring to the summer months as well. But if you'd like to learn more, make sure you check out Schnack's weather blog at kwwl.com under the Weather tab, and we'll be right back.